Well, hello, everyone, and we hope your week is going well so far. Thanks for watching THV 11 News at noon. I'm Amanda Yeager. Let's start the second half of your Monday with a first look at our weather forecast. We have meteorologist Nathan Scott joining us this afternoon. Nathan, sunny, hot, kind of seems like a repeat sort of thing.
We are kind of stuck in a wash-repeat cycle here in Arkansas, Amanda, and with that, we start off the day with lots of sun, but it's a great day to teach your kids what's going on with weather because you start off the day with plenty of sun, but then as the sun heats the ground, we've got bubbles of warm air that rise into the atmosphere, and those bubbles cool, condense, and develop into clouds like this, fair weather cumulus clouds. Now, some of these clouds will produce a few showers, but that's a beautiful shot right there from Dash R View 11 on top of the Simmons Bank building. Over visible satellite with the temperatures now, there's those clouds just developing all across Arkansas. Temperatures are into the upper 80s, and with the humidity, it starts to feel like the low to mid 90s. So it's going to be a hot and humid day around the region, but some of you will see a few cooling showers. Here's the radar loop. We'll switch over to high resolution, and there's that smattering of showers primarily just to the west of the metro. More rain is expected going to the rest of the work week. I'll have more details on that coming up.
First responders from across Florida as well as from Mexico and Israel have now joined the effort to search for survivors of the partial building collapse in Surfside, Florida. Rescue workers have recovered 9 bodies so far, with more than 150 people who remain unaccounted for. David Begnaud has the latest.
We have been told repeatedly, rescuers are moving fast but carefully. One wrong move could mean another disaster.
We need to be sure that the pile does not fall on them, that it does not fall on any possible survivors.
What they've done is dig a trench beneath the rubble. So far, it's 125 feet long and 40 feet deep. There's an Israeli search and rescue team hoping to rescue people here just like they did after the 2010 Haiti earthquake.
We need more people down here.
That's when crews found people alive 8 days after the quake. Here on Sunday, for the first time, families of the missing were escorted to the disaster site. Meanwhile, this morning, there are questions that remain about the structural problems with this building. There was an assessment done by engineers in 2018, and one part took a look at the parking garage and found abundant cracking and spalling of varying degrees observed in the concrete columns, beams, and walls. Also in the report,
though some of this damage is minor, most of the concrete deterioration needs to be repaired in a timely manner.
Absolutely. Why wasn't it? Timely can't possibly mean more than 2.5 years later.
That is attorney Brad Sohn, who is representing at least a dozen victims and was the first to file a lawsuit the day of the collapse.
The association knew or should have known that there were structural integrity problems. It should have been addressed at the time that they became aware.
Also in the report, this quote: "The main issue with this building structure is that the entrance drive, pool deck, planter waterproofing is laid on a flat structure. There was no slope for drainage, so the water had to essentially evaporate." There was an engineer who took a look at the report and told CBS News that nothing warned of imminent catastrophe, and an attorney for the Homeowners Association said the same thing. There was nothing that those engineers wrote in that pretty standard report that indicated, hey, y'all better get on some type of repair or this building is going to collapse. David Begnaud, CBS News, outside the disaster site here in Surfside, Florida.
New at noon, one of the suspects accused of killing a Pea Ridge police officer over the weekend is now being charged with capital murder. According to investigators, Elijah Andanzola of Bella Vista was in the car that hit and killed Officer Kevin Apple on Saturday. He's now being held without bond. Investigators also arraigned Shauna Cash of Pine Bluff. She's set to appear in court later this afternoon. Officer Apple was a 23-year police veteran and served with the Pea Ridge Police Department for the last 3. Police in North Little Rock are investigating this afternoon after a man was shot and killed at a home in North Little Rock. Officers responded overnight to 16th and Chandler Streets. When they arrived, the victim was already dead. No arrests have been made. Detectives are still collecting evidence and interviewing witnesses. We'll update this story on THV11.com as we find out more details. Well, now let's get to the latest COVID-19 numbers in Arkansas, specifically a rising number of new COVID cases and hospitalizations. Among the state's top officials and doctors, there are renewed concerns over this Delta variant, which doctors say is more dangerous and transmissible than the original variant. So here are 3 things you need to know this afternoon about this. In the last 4 days, reported by the state, we have seen 300 plus cases every day. The average sits at just under 390 cases per day over that span. So let's put that into perspective for you. We have not seen 4 straight days of 300 plus cases since the first 4 days of March. That's going back nearly 4 months. And as you know from surges before, more cases lead to more hospitalizations. In the last 3 weeks, we've seen the number of patients in the hospital battling this virus rise to 291. That's an increase of 64%. Ventilator use also going up. That number has more than doubled in the same span. And after being shut down for 3 months, UAMS has officially reopened its designated COVID unit. The move comes as hospitalizations increase and the Delta variant spreads across Arkansas. As of Friday, the hospital has 24 COVID-19 patients, with 11 in the ICU, 3 on ventilators. And according to data from Johns Hopkins University, Arkansas ranks 5th in the country for new cases per capita. Governor Asa Hutchinson appeared on Face the Nation Sunday morning right here on THV 11. He says the increase in hospitalizations comes from those who have not been vaccinated. Because the vaccine is still under FDA emergency use authorization, he says that is creating a challenge. The rise in patients in the hospital are those who are younger and sicker.
The part that you're most concerned about are those that don't believe in the efficacy of it. They believe that in the conspiracy theories.
The governor says the state's incentives to get people to get the vaccine have not been successful. With the uptick in people fighting the virus from hospitals, Hutchinson believes the vaccination rate will increase as well. On Capitol Hill, a compromise infrastructure bill is back on track after comments made by President Biden nearly derailed it. The president was forced to clarify a statement connecting that bipartisan deal to another controversial spending bill. CBS's Weijia Zhang is at the White House.
Republican lawmakers who helped broker a bipartisan infrastructure package are back on board after a fraught few days when it seemed the entire deal might fall apart.
It's very clear that we can move forward with a bipartisan bill that's broadly popular.
Just hours after President Biden announced the deal,
we had a really good meeting.
He said he would only sign it if it accompanied a separate bill, the much more expensive and controversial American Families Plan, which includes Democratic priorities like childcare and green energy.
If this is the only thing that comes to me, I'm not signing it. It's in tandem.
We were assured that the two would not be linked.
The president reversed his comments over the weekend, writing in a statement, "I gave my word to support the infrastructure plan, and that's what I intend to do."
You can get whiplash by trying to follow Joe Biden on this.
But there are still challenges ahead. The GOP needs to convince more Republicans to vote for the bipartisan compromise, while Mr. Biden has to bring members of his own party together who are divided over the cost and the scope of the American Families Plan.
For me, it's not as much about a price tag, but I think it's really about what impact are we making?
They think in reconciliation, I'm going to throw caution to the wind and go to $5 or $6 trillion when we can only afford 1 or 1.5 or maybe 2, and what we can pay for, then I can't be there.
White House advisors still expect to get both infrastructure bills on President Biden's desk at some point, even if it's not at the same time. Just like we have seen him do in the past, the president will take his case straight to the American people when he heads to Wisconsin on Tuesday with the Secretary of Agriculture. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, the White House.
Progressive Democrats say they have reservations about the infrastructure bill because they worry the compromise deal gave up too much of their priorities. Well, the first cruise ship to set sail from the U.S. since the start of the COVID pandemic, now out and on the water. We give you a closer look at the precautions they're taking to keep cruisers safe.
And we'll have to deal with a few showers around the region through this afternoon and the next couple days. But then the chance of rain, it'll be hiking up. I'll explain why and have an early look at your 4th of July weekend forecast coming up.